So thank you. Jennifer Savage, Surfrider Foundation. I'm also speaking on behalf of NRDC today. I just wanted to start by acknowledging the service that the Navy provides in defense of our country and to thank the representatives for returning today to give this presentation. We still do have some questions and concerns about room for improvement when it comes to protecting our marine mammals. Just to give one example, we know that there is a small resident population of beaked whales on the Southern California anti-submarine warfare range that is continually disrupted and disturbed by Navy sonar testing. The Navy says that they can't reduce training in this area, but maybe there are other measures that would be imperative to reducing harm. For example, we've seen research on porpoises that suggests the Navy might be able to reduce disruption simply by turning the upsweep into a downsweep. And so our question is, can the Navy conduct research on this potential for reducing impacts on these beaked whales by modifying the sonar signal? We would appreciate that the Commission ask the Navy to look into this. Thank you.
All right. Well, since this is an informational hearing, I guess we can just ask that question. Mr. Stone or Mr. Johnson, would you care to address what the NRDC was asking about?
Well, I can actually answer both pieces of it. The first part is we're already studying the beaked whale population. That was one I talked about that I didn't have time to get into in depth. Yes, there are a subpopulation there, and yes, they displace when they hear sound. But what we're finding both from several, genetics, passive acoustics, animal tag tracks, satellite tags, a little bit shorter than the big whales, is the animals come back. They're always there. The key thing is what I call the population dynamics, which is new. I don't think anybody has the level of population knowledge now that has been gained on that particular population over the last 10 years, which I alluded to. We're seeing the same animals again, again, and again, and again. We're seeing new animals again, again, and again. And there's still some nuances. Sometimes some animals, especially males, they'll take off. There's a dip in August. They go somewhere in August. We don't know where yet. So there's some science that still needs to be done. And that particular program has been going on for 10 plus years. It's going to go on probably for the next 7 years. So we're doing as best we can for the science of that particular species. I'm not a Navy operator anymore. I did do a stint as a reservist at one time. As far as the sonar sweep stuff, that's a tactical issue. The sonar signal, the basic signal, especially of the most impactful sonar, has been around since the late 1950s, 1960s. It's just the processing technology has improved on top of that because it works. It works at the range it needs to work. If signals change to be a different type, that's kind of out of our purview, especially at this level. If it works, and that's what the testing part of the Hawaii training and testing range is. They're testing all sorts of new sonars all the time, big ones, little ones, UUVs, unmanned vessels, all sorts of new kind of technologies. So if that signal type can be changed, it helps the tactical needs. Because the last thing you want is a submarine to be undetected and to sink a U.S. ship. Is then they'll make that adjustment. And there has been some research on it, but I don't know when, if that will be how problematic that would be in the near term.
So if you could just summarize that for me, since I kind of got lost there. The question was the specific population of whales in this specific area. Are you saying that since it has been monitored now for over 10 years, you feel as if those whales are fine, that they're protected, that what the Navy's activities are doing are not really disturbing them? Because you were saying they go in, they go out, they come back.
Right.
So in your opinion, do you feel that this particular population is not being disturbed in any critical way?
If you want to say that, that's exactly it. They're not being disturbed in a critical, and the key point, a population way. And disturbance.
In other words, that there's as many of them or more of them, and they continue to come back. The same species, the same individuals.
Correct.
Come home.
Correct.
Okay.
Especially in the area where, when you ask about going somewhere, the area they're talking about is an instrumented range. So there's permanent Navy hydrophones underneath there, and it's probably the most important part for training. Probably in the Pacific. I won't say the world. That's kind of I don't know. Everything goes on everywhere. So it's a key area, and that's why we put that investment in that species in that particular area.
Okay. Thank you.
Sure.
Appreciate it.